Real hot girl shit. And if the beat live, you know Lil Juke made it. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Body crazy curvy wavy big titties little waist. Body crazy curvy wavy big titties little waist. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Look at how I body that, ate it up and gave it back. Yeah, you look good, but they still wanna know we're making it.
Hey! Welcome back to another episode of the Pretty Plus Size and Powerful Podcast. We are on episode 79. We getting closer and closer to 100.
Yes. Because we thought somebody in their 60s said something.
Period. So,
because y'all consistent.
In case you don't know the voice or my face, or if this is your first time here, what's up? If you returning, hey or hey. We took a break last week, but we'll get into that later. It is me, Aziza, aka Zebo, aka the Human Universe, aka your favorite fat girl. And across the country at the crib, I got my bestie with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Cynthia, aka the spoiled one, aka the real one, aka the unbothered one.
And we have a very special guest, but y'all know who it is, and she don't really need no introduction, but we gonna do it anyways because, you know, it's a pretty big deal in this mind.
Hey, y'all. It's a pretty big deal, a.k.a. Elle, Renee, a.k.a. the mother, a.k.a. that.
We are super excited to have you here.
I'm happy to be here, y'all. Always.
I can't wait to get into this topic because I know it's going to be a good one, but y'all know we got to do some stuff first. So before we get into it, we got a quote, and I was going to hand it over to Ruthia, but it's me today. And it was actually something that I had said on my Instagram. And so the quote for the week is, happiness is the best currency that you can pay yourself. I'm going to repeat it because I don't know if y'all heard it or not.
That's good.
Happiness is the best currency that you can pay yourself. Now, y'all let that mean whatever it's going to mean to y'all. But you know what I'm saying?
So this whole episode is going to be just therapeutic for me.
Like, for real, you see I'm over here like, yeah.
Well, we going to keep it going with our vibes of the week. Ruthie, you want to go first?
Sure. So am I echoing really bad?
Not at all.
Okay. So my vibe this week, basically, I have been seeing the same number repeatedly for like 3 weeks straight now. Probably a little bit longer than that. I've seen it on license plates. I've seen it on one of my favorite Instagrammers. It's a girl who started her lock journey right after me. So I've been following her, and she has a necklace with this same number. I've been seeing it just like literally everywhere I go. I just keep seeing the number 444. So I had to Google it, and two things that the number 444 stands for really stood out to me. And the first one was the number 444 is for protection and encouragement. It's a sign that you are currently following the right path. But if you see it repeatedly, it means that your angel is currently with you and sending you signs. And I was like, okay, God, come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Girl, I should have really comforting. I should have went first. No, but my vibe this week is a new group that I started on Facebook. It's called Black Families Affected by Alzheimer's Disease and Dementia. It is a journey that I have not shared. If you listen and you know I'm a caregiver for my mom, but I've never really formally said what was going on with her. She did have early onset Alzheimer's. It's hard for me, it's still hard for me at this moment even to talk about it because I just don't want to accept it, because the way that it affects a person is so crazy. I'm still not used to it. I'm still, I'm still feeling like I'm getting to know this new woman who is my mother. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't find anything on Facebook that spoke directly to Black families or Black people at all.
Right.
Every time you talk about Alzheimer's or dementia, it's always some old white person that's the face of it. A white family, you know what I'm saying, is who they're catering to. And of course, the way everything else, I'm always trying to find a way so that we can support each other.
Right.
I don't know. I hardly know anything about Alzheimer's. It's still something that's, baffling to doctors. They don't know the causes. They don't know how to fix it. And so it's just something that the families are left to deal with on a regular basis. And I was talking to another woman, and I won't give her name because that's not my business to tell, but we had kind of been talking back and forth for a little while. Just, trying to lean on each other. And I'm like, well, if we need to lean on each other, then I'm sure there are tons of people out there that, need some type of support, even to talk about, what you're doing, what you're not doing, how it's affecting you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just all different types of things. So that's my vibe this week. I'm hoping that grows and grows and grows. Because when I say I can't do it by myself, so I can't imagine, you know what I'm saying, other people who are going through the same thing. And then I talk to Ruthia all the time because, she's been through that situation with one of her family members and stuff like that. And it's tough. You need somebody to be able to talk to and get it. As somebody who understands, of course.
Right.
I'm in therapy, as if you know what I'm saying. So if you listen to or if you caught the last live that we did 2 weeks ago, you know that I started therapy, but it's still not the same. To have somebody understand what you're going through and be able to talk with them is really, really important. So yeah, that's my vibe for this week.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
That's
Elle, do you have a vibe? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I do actually, and I'm gonna piggyback off of you first. Just this past week, it was the death anniversary of my great aunt, my mom's aunt, who passed away of dementia. And I can just tell you, like, and maybe we could talk more about this off too, and I'll join the group. We didn't know much about it, but we just tried to keep as normal as possible. And that's what helped us to get through. And now it's of course, it's still unsettling, like you said, because it's like this, you're watching this person that was so full of life and this and that. And like, who are you now? But all we could do is just treat them as normal as possible, and stay in her face. And it was like, it really helped. And it was really beautiful now that I can still celebrate her and remember all those good things. You know what I mean? So my heart is with you. And I'm going to definitely join that group. I'm going to add my mom, because my mom was her caregiver. So she'll be able to give you those bad days and those good days and give you some advice. My mom was really good for that. So I'll make sure that we join the group.
Thank you.
For my vibe of the week. So I'm assuming this is something, just what we've been on all week, right?
Yep.
I won't talk about my boys because that's what the show is about. So this is my first full week back at work. And it was just a joy. It was just really, it's one thing to have to go back to work, after being off with your child, after, being off, and it's dreadful and you're sad and your nerves are bad, but just to be like, I'm ready to go to work, it was just really, really, really cool to be back with my people. And, I'm good. So I guess that was it, being back in the groove and not really feeling, the stress of missing home and the new baby and all that good stuff. Like, the environment was dope. So yeah.
All right. So we had some comments here. Somebody said, look at all this sexiness.
I can't see the name. All I see is Facebook user. Who is it?
I know they would have to give StreamYard permission. So I don't know who said it.
Oh, okay.
It depends. You know what? It's probably one of my Facebook friends. Let me find out.
Okay.
But then we have Dewana, who birthday just passed. So happy belated birthday, darling.
Hey, darling. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you. Listen, that's a whole nother story, y'all, about this little hair color. My hair, that's a whole nother story. Thank you, though. I'm embracing it. I'm learning how to just say thank you without giving all my extras. Thank you.
So the title of this episode, we're gonna move right ahead because I'm excited to get to it, and we gotta make sure that we, get this conversation popping. The title of this episode is Raising Black Boys, from cute to scary. Ruthie, you want to go ahead and talk about why and introduce the topic, and we can start.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this without crying. I'm fingers crossed. This subject is super, super sensitive for me because I am a mother of a young Black boy who often is mislabeled. He doesn't look his age. His voice is deep for his age. His body type is just, he don't look like a fresh teenager. And we're growing. This is my first time being a mother. Never had a teenage son. So just us growing and learning each other and experiencing life this day and age has been completely different. And it's a lot of traumatic experiences that we both had to deal with, and those trying to uncover those wagons that our parents covered for us. Me experiencing certain things and allowing him to see me grow and heal, and allowing him to be able to talk. We watched a TV show called The Shy, and just watching that, he was like, Mom, what did these boys do? They're around his age. And certain things that happened in the episode was just like, so I can be just walking down the street and the police can attack me. So it's a lot of sensitivity when it comes to being a parent. There's a lot of sensitivity when it becomes of being a young Black boy. And I know I'm not the only mother that has extreme anxiety. And my anxiety could be over the top, but it could be normal. I have a lot of things that I'm just like, I don't know if what I'm experiencing, if I need to go to therapy for, if I'm just dealing with life as I should be, but I want to be the best person for him. And who else to ask but Miss Elle Renee?
Girl, thank you. We're just figuring it out as we go. You know what I mean? I think one thing that you said, like our parents, those things that they tried to bottle up and box away from us, that's key for our generation. You're always supposed to teach what you didn't learn, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Through what we learned through experience, we have to talk about it openly and publicly with our boys, with our children, period, but especially our boys.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm just supposed to jump right into it or like intro it or whatever, but yeah, like it's definitely scary. And Ruthie and I have boys similar ages. I think what Mitch is 14, your baby is
13.
So I mean, and Mitch is 6'2", 326 pounds, going to the 10th grade. So when he's standing next to me, he looks like he could be, big brother, boyfriend, whatever, if you didn't know him. So it's always that fear. I try not to be fearful, but it's there. Just like last week, he wanted to go to the Bucks game, and I had to put a poll out there, like, should I let him go? Because I'm thinking about everybody else. I'm not afraid of him. I don't not trust him. I don't trust people when they see him out there and he's being silly and, playful or whatnot. And he rubs the wrong shoulder. And then I shouldn't have to think about those things, but I do. You know what I'm saying? And I think about his future a lot, which all parents do, but for, I would say, the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Will he make it? I know what I'm doing and I'm trying to instill in him, but will there be a time that he encounters a police officer or wrongfully accused, anything? And that's not fair for us already, as our Black kids have to be prepared for the negative stuff of life ahead of time. They just can't be kids. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, to be a Black young man and to be try to be different from the stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much. So yeah. I don't want to just go on my ramp. I want to kind of keep the flow, but I feel you on that. Yeah. Ask me questions. I work better like that. Y'all just ask me questions. I'll go off.
So I got a question for you all, because y'all know, and if you listen to the podcast, I don't have kids. I got a ton of nephews and stuff like that. I've been a community kid. So observing and having a different level of sympathy for Black children has always been a part of, you know what I'm saying, who I am. Even just, I mean, and talking to other people, because like, even talking to men who are, you know what I'm saying, assisting in raising their sons, they have that same fear that you all have. One, knowing what they had to go through. And then two, now being parents and trying to prevent their own sons from going through those same things. At what point in time, because the title is From Cute to Scary, and it was prompted by that because there was a little boy holding a sign. It was a Facebook post of a little boy holding a sign that said, "When did I go from cute to scary?" And he was like, maybe, well, he looked like he was about maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. And it's like, when do our babies go from being cute to scary? Is it size? Is it their ability to now go outside of their neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? Is it when they can walk to the corner store themselves? Like, and what is it? You could know this child your whole life. You know what I'm saying? His whole life.
Right.
And at some point in time, you stop trusting them. Why?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, I'm just trying to filter through, you know, my environment. I can't say that personally with mine, but I just try to. I honestly, and if I'm honest, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you give me a reason to. And even those, I would say, troubled children or young men, you know, they have a story. So to answer your question, when do they go from cute to scary? I would say, you know, like you said, as soon as they're able to come outside of their house, you know what I'm saying? When they able to come out and play on the front yard on the sidewalk, you know, they're open to the things of the world that are scary, and they're sponges to that. So I don't think it's necessarily them, but they become products of their environment. I think that's very important. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it happens in my mind. And I try to consider that when I encounter young men. Like at one point I was working at the Boys and Girls Club in the heart of the hood. And I will admit, you know, I was very timid and afraid going in there because I'd never worked in that capacity before. And there was some disrespect, you know, and all that, but I never judged because, like I said, they only do what they're allowed to do and what they're used to seeing being done. So I think it's all just that, you know, just them being sponges and absorbing where they are. And that's just what you get. You know what I'm saying? So it's not truly because once they know me and I become Miss Vonda, you know, they bring chips and candy and they land on my shoulder. So I just think it's that initial introduction that we see. They're not scary. No. If that's what you want to label them as, of course. But that's their defense too. Of course, they want you to think they're scary because that's their protection because of their surroundings. You know what I'm saying? They got to be tough, but they're really not. You know what I'm saying? They really not.
For me, I feel like I'm more like you. I haven't really had to experience I haven't had to experience a child being scary. I've had to experience, like I would forever look at my son and say, he's cute. Of course, he's going to be mom handsome, you know, but to the world, at some point, he became scary.
Yeah.
Our babies will forever be cute to us, but I think when they go through puberty, it's like a switch to the world because it's like their voices change, their body types change. And whenever I'm somewhere and I feel timid, or you know what I'm saying, I mean it's a natural behavior where you kind of like, okay, it's dark, it's a lot of dudes, let me cross the street or something like that. It's like you said, it's them surviving because we can see a group of kids on the corner, and I can remember going to high school and they told us we couldn't wear hoodies. And us not being able to wear hoodies was like, well, it's cold in here. But to them, that was a sign that we were in a game. And it also was a sign to them that, we're prepared to fight. But that was just us being children. But if we see some kids standing on a corner, we can't be on the corner with more than 5 people. But if I got 5 siblings and we all standing in front of our house, it's considered against, you know what I'm saying, against the law, and it's not okay for that. Why is it scary that I can't be around my siblings?
Right.
So, Elle, you said something that I just want to point out again. You called our baby. You called the baby sponges, and I'm gonna say our babies every time because my whole village mentality.
Yeah.
You called our babies sponges, and one that talks about learned behavior, but that talks about the perception of people on the outside. They absorb that too.
Yes.
And then, so one, they're being judged before they even get to make their own mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you say something to a kid too many times, they become that. So if we keep calling them scary, and we keep calling them criminals, and we keep calling them niggas, and we keep calling them car thieves, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then they become those things.
Right. Or you're a black man in the hood, or you're a black man with this and that. Like, you know, we put that extra on there instead of just saying you're a young black man. You know what I'm saying? But he already knows where he lives. He already knows where he goes to school. He already knows all these other things, I believe, you know, that are against him. So when we continue to say that and point that out, that shines a light in their head, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So we have to be even careful about that too, about your black man with, of, from, you know what I mean? All that. And like I said, they already have a disadvantage because they just can't grow up and just be children. We have to train them how to talk to people and how to walk and this, and you know, like, that's not fair to them. You know what I'm saying? So where they just want to be silly, like I told Mitch, you know, you want to be, don't be silly down there and don't be, you know, he has this thing, and I used to do it too, you know, where you fake, you know, dribble around somebody when you walking up to them. Don't do none of that down there. You can't do that. You can't have fun, basically. Go watch the game and be with your cousins, and that's it. But why not? Because the next young man can be down there doing everything, popping firecrackers at your feet, and everybody think it's funny, or, you know what I'm saying, stop, Josh, or whatever. You know what I mean? But it'll be a whole different story for him. So that you know, is already messing with their heads, because they, you know, they can't just have fun and be kids. You know, they have to grow up way before their time. So
even just like the backhand of that too, because I tried to get in the habit of telling my son that he was a king. Hey, king. And, you know, I tried to, you know, giving him that positive reinforcement. But even with that, I had to stop and I had to pull back, because I'm telling him that he's a king. And when, as a child, you look at as a king as the head of the household and having all this pressure and this weight. So I don't even want to put that king title on him, because that's also applying that pressure and telling him that, oh, now that you're a certain age, it's time for you to grow. It's time for you to do these things. And of course, we're just thinking like, okay, tell him he's a king, so he's not being called those negative things, but those positive things could also be affecting him as well.
And it sucks so bad because Black kids get robbed of innocence. By nothing that they've done on their own. But they get robbed of, you know what I'm saying? They get robbed of their innocence. They have to grow up. By and depending on, you know, their physical size, you know, Black kids got to grow up around 9, 10, 11 years old. And God forbid they have a parent who, you know what I'm saying, was not really ready to be a parent and acts, you know what I'm saying, doesn't act as a parent. So now they really out there on their own and they open and subjected to the influences of their surroundings. As mothers of sons, do you all talk to your sons about the pressures of the outside world, and what do those conversations look like?
I do, but I don't. Like I said, I don't. It's difficult because you don't want to oversaturate them too early. You want to. I like to deal with things as they come. So for me, you know, I really don't like to, and I'm being honest, and I sometimes feel like, okay, I need to start really doing, you know, having these conversations with Mitch more, but I deal with things as they come, you know, like we really dealing with I just drew a whole blank. What was your question?
The conversations that you may or may not have with your son.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, I deal with the things that come, like when we have an issue come up about this past school year. Mitch started off very strong virtually, and then he hit a plateau, and then so that's when I would bring up the conversation of how important it is to do what you're supposed to do, because, and like I threw in, you're already a black man. People, and I don't use it as a fear tactic, but I use it for him to prove them wrong. I always tell them that you want to prove everybody wrong. People who think that you're not going to make it, and you're not going to graduate, you're not going to get scholarships, and you're not capable. Prove them wrong. Not that because you're a black man, you have to do this. No, they already counted you out. So don't fall into their traps. And I know it's hard. It's hard for everyone. You're not the only one going through this whole virtual thing. So you can't use that as an excuse. You have everything that you need to be successful. So I deal with those things as they come. Finances. Mitch has access to his finances. So when he spends all his money on the Xbox, I have to let him know. Once I won't cut you off, but when you become an adult, you have to be responsible. You have bills to pay. You got rent, utilities, all these other things. Xbox they've made their money. Don't make them rich and then you over here trying to penny pinch. No, use it in moderation. So I deal with things as they come. I don't, it's kind of hard to overflood them with so much information, like having these sit downs every day, every week. No, and we have an issue. We deal with that issue, and that's key, to have a conversation. I don't yell. Sometimes I do. I have to, I have to really buff up sometime, but for the most time, I'm having conversation like, look, bro, that's exactly how I talk to Mitch. Man, look, man, like, you have to get this. I trust him and he trusts me. He knows I'm still mama, but he respects and listens to my advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've built that relationship with him where it's not just my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I allow him to express himself, and within means, within reason. And I think he receives what I have to say better that way too. So when we have issues that come up, that's when we deal with them.
Okay, so for me to answer the question, I think I create opportunities for Tyler to open up more so than just pressuring him. And I use TV a lot, because like before I would do like, oh, Tyler, let's paint. Let's do this and let's do that, and kind of open up those spaces when I would know he was getting down. He'd be like, well, I don't want to do this activity. Okay, well, let's just sit here. So I used to use certain things, but I create opportunities versus forcing a conversation on him. He refuses to watch The Hate U Give with me, but I'm gonna get him one day. But I have been using TV shows like we talked about The Shy, and he was supposed to just been on his laptop watching YouTube, but I knew that the conversations that was being presented in that episode was going to trigger him to ask some questions. And it was really more so because he had asked to go somewhere with a friend, and it was a student from school that had recently been shot. And it was kind of like, I want you to be able to celebrate this friend because they made it. They life could have been taken. So I want you to celebrate this. But at the same time, as a mother, I'm fearful that who is this child around, that my child is around now, and that possibly could be my child. But I wanted him to understand that by watching that episode with me, okay, well, let's look at the fact that both of these boys were doing nothing wrong, but then you have people on the outside and how they look and how things could escalate really quickly. So I use a lot of TV, and I use a lot of like, I'll send him memes of different stuff because we both have social media, and I allow him to use it, trusting him that he's going to use it appropriately. But I use those as teachable moments as well. So that's kind of how I deal with it. But it's something that you said, Elle, that really kind of made me come up with another question. How do you deal with, and I don't know how your co-parenting situation is, but one thing that I'm struggling with is that my way of parenting and my home life is a lot more structured than he has with his father. And that teenager stage is it's already tough being a mother and having to deal with a teenager. But when you have two different parents and two different lifestyles, how do you deal with that? Like, I feel like I have to, I don't want to say train him, but rein him back in every single
Yes.
time. But I don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take away the experiences of that he's having with his father. How do you
Right.
balance that out?
I can honestly say I've been blessed that Mitch's dad, him and I are on the same spectrum, for the most part. If um his family is more religious, and grandmother is a pastor, uncle's preachers, his dad is a preacher. I mean, so they're more, spiritual religious. So not to make them perfect, but with that kind of background, they're more on the positive side. So we see a lot, and me coming up in the church too, a lot of our beliefs are on the same level. Where
Okay.
we are different is, just other like domestic things. So, good question, because just this November, Mitch actually was there, from November to April. He went to Memphis, to do virtual, because we were exploring the idea of him moving to be with his father, permanently, because, and it's just amazing how the universe lines up, because a few years ago, I began to think like I'm doing my nurturing now, but it's going to become a time where that's going to be enough. Now he needs to start really being prepared for manhood. So I need to be able to pass the torch over. But at that time, his father and I weren't, like, we just started co-parenting, like I would say a year ago, and Mitch is 14. We had a very, very strained relationship. That's a whole nother topic, but I'm grateful now that when it matters the most, we're able to communicate and be on the same page. So with Mitch being there, I saw a lot of growth in him, and this, was warming for my heart. You know what I'm saying? To see that him being with his dad wasn't different from me. Mitch thought it was going to be sweet, but when he saw that, like, it was just as structured there, if not more, you know what I'm saying, than it was here. I think that really helped. So we're pretty much on the same page. Mike is more lax in the home life as far as cleaning up and making sure your room
Mhm.
and stuff is clean, whereas like I want that stuff done. But that's about the only difference. But Mike is on him more being a hard worker. Like he's a football coach, so that's why Mitch is going to go, to play football. And he has a youth organization called Raising the Bar. He's involved in the community, so Mitch is able to see all of
Yes.
that. Like he's heavily involved, and it was just beautiful to hear him say, I can't mentor all these other young boys, and I'm not mentoring my own. So in that aspect, him and I, like I said, I'm blessed to have somebody whose mindset is the same. So I can't say, I have to rein them back in, except for, like I said, you're gonna get up and clean up. You know what I'm saying? But if that's all I gotta do, then I
That's
won't even say nothing about it. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
You can have all the socks and shoes on the floor if you want to, but as long as I'm not having to restructure your way of looking at life, and being respectful and all those things like that, like I don't have to worry about that. So
Okay. I'm gonna pray on it. Amen.
yeah. And I would just say to you, Ruthia, even if you do, um, I don't know the exact scripture, but what you teach your children and what you instill in them, he's with you the majority of the time. So even though it may seem like, what you're teaching him, it goes out the window, like they want to have that balance. So let them have that, you know what I'm saying, that free and relaxed thing, but don't worry about it, because what you're teaching him, I'm telling you, it's sticking. And just to it's hard to say what I want to say, but like, even like when Mitch would go, he would say certain things like, yeah, I ain't with that, and pick up on what I told him to do. So just keep being who you are, trust what you're teaching him, cover him, and when he comes back home, you know what I'm saying? It's just like he needs that balance, and I'm just being honest. He needs to see that world, but no, over here in this world, this is really where it's sweet, if that makes sense. You know? So.
Thank you for that.
So is okay.
Just say it, girl.
So Ruthie and I were having a conversation a little while ago, just about do you all ever feel like there's a time where you're not doing enough? Like, does the weight of the world sometimes come crashing down on you and you feel like I'm not doing enough? I wish I could be doing more. I'm not doing it right. I'm gonna mess my baby up. Like, and then how do you all cope with that, with those negative thoughts that may try and creep up on you every now and then?
I say where I get mad, I get emotional because I feel like your children learn by example. And I just always look at people, like I've watched so many children, grow up through social media that I know, like they graduate high school and they graduate in college and then they're starting their own families. Now I'm looking at their parents, like they're most times, in school and they're doing their business owners. So I'm just looking at the examples that they're setting for their children to keep them on that path. And then that's what makes me look at myself like, y'all know me, with my own baby and the things that I have that I'm supposed to do. I feel like I'm procrastinating, but I'm really being more gentle with myself and just knowing that I'm just flowing through life the way I'm flowing through life. But that makes me nervous because I'm like, I'm his first example. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm not doing could be affecting him. Me not going back to school and studying, being that first example of this is why you're supposed to study hard, is affecting him and why he's not studying hard. And, me being reckless sometimes with my finances could be the reason why, he sometimes struggles with learning the concept of what it is to do this with your finances and things like that. And then, so that's what it is for me. It's me taking responsibility for what I feel like I'm not doing, by being his first example. And there's been times that I've broken down in front of him, like I said, going back to the education thing, and it's like I'm doing all I can to show you. And it Mitch isn't bad, but like you said, sometimes it ain't all good either. And I really help me to help you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm afraid, I can't have you out here homeless and I can't have you out here struggling like me. You know what I'm saying? I want you to do so much better than me. Like, I'm giving you all the tools and all the ways I went wrong. Like, just take my advice. And I don't know, what you can't, you can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? That's what reels me back in. I'm giving him everything that I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally doing all that I can do. I'm being honest and open and vulnerable. But he's gonna have to learn his own way. I can't say that I allow outside forces to really affect me. And I'm not a super mom, don't get me wrong, but I keep it very in-house. I keep it very intimate when it comes to dealing with Mitch, because allowing social media and allowing society to be an added stress will take me all the way out. You know what I'm saying? So I keep it very intimate with what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? And what I can do for him. So I'm trying to pull up my notes too, y'all. So bear with me. I had some stuff down. Go ahead, Ruth.
So my anxiety has definitely been with he's a teenager now, and he's learning to be a whole new person. He's learning who he wants to be in this world, and he's seeing himself differently. And a lot of times it's kind of like I feel like I'm not allowing him to choose him, and I want him to feel comfortable choosing him and whatever that looks like for him, and not be afraid to. He should be as comfortable as he wants to be in his own house, in his own skin, if nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And my other anxiety has come from recent experiences. Like I said, I look for my village to be my support. So when you say an intimate setting, like I expected my village to be intimate. And if I'm gonna be completely transparent, I allowed my child to go to be a part of my village, and he did not return to me the same.
Mm.
And since that moment, and that's been over 6-7 months, and for that experience has really, really brought a lot of different fear and anxiety for me, because it's, how can I send him into a village of my people and expect him to be okay, and for me to be able to go to work, to be able to provide for him, and for him to come back and he was never the same after he came back from that experience. And it's kind of like, how do you protect your child from your own village, to where our village has now literally become super tight, and I'm trying not to hold him in so tight, because you still want him to be himself. I still want him to, I don't want him to feel like he's being punished for something that somebody else did. Because he's still a child and he's still learning, but I also want him to take that experience and say, I have to have my eyes open at all times, no matter who's around, even if it is the village. And because you can't always, I'm learning that you can't always trust your village either. So I think my anxiety recently as a mother has been that particular experience, as well as him being a teenager now, and the different experiences that he's going to go through. The girls, oh my God, I can't deal with the little girls calling his phone, and whew, like it's been a lot, and I'm expecting the village to kind of help me. But at the same time, with that experience, I'm fearful to even allow the village in. So
now, when you speak of your village in that aspect, and this is me asking for me, is it the males that are going to teach him like the wrong things to do when dealing with the women or young ladies, or are you speaking of the females? Because that's like a part of my thing too. Mitch is, they all starting to talk on the phone and all this other stuff, and want me to take him to meet the girl at the track. I'm like, no. But like that's that area where I can tell you from a woman's perspective of what, how to approach a young woman and all those things. But as far as like the male point of view, that's where it gets foggy for me. That's where I need to call on my reinforcement. Like, hey, y'all need to come on, because he's starting. You know what I'm saying? It's flaring up, and I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm lost in that area of what to tell you as far as a man's perspective goes. So is that what you're speaking of?
So I'm gonna be completely transparent. I have spoken to previous football coaches as well as teachers at his school, where I definitely I call on them all the time. Like, hey, my son needs you.
Same.
So you said you was tapped in. Let's tap in.
Same.
So I do have them for that. But for this particular incident, and I've talked about it a little bit, and I won't say names or relations, but mostly for the sake of my child. I don't want him to ever look back on this and feel like I exposed him. I sent my child to an event with people that was a part of my village that are no longer. And there was a physical incident to where my son was attacked physically. And he was at the time 12, and he was attacked by adults.
Grown men.
And I noticed the change in him, because when he came home, one, he was disappointed, he was hurt. The people that he looked up to, he can no longer look up to them. As well as in that moment, I seen literally the beast arise. Like, all right, now it's time for me to, I need to throw my own weight around, because I have to protect myself in this world. And he wasn't even in the world. Right. So it's kind of like, you still within the village, and you already, now he's like, I'm tough because I've experienced this and I made it through. But that was by the grace of God, because had that been anybody else, I don't know what phone call I would have received him coming back home, or if he would have returned home. So I know from that experience, my child, will never be the same. And I don't expect him to. But I do what I can say I appreciate about that moment was when he seen me, he felt comfortable enough to let go. His shoulders relaxed. I can appreciate that. And I can also appreciate in that moment, we both had a breakthrough because I was able to release some things that I was holding in and covered wagons that was a part of my family that I was like, all right, so we just gonna just let it all out. So I appreciate that moment that shifted for me and him as a mother's son, but I hate that he had to experience it in the way that he did because I don't know what that one experience is, how it's going to travel with him throughout his life. Because I've had experiences as a child that has traveled with me throughout my life, and it's kind of like I'm in my 30s or whatever, and I'm just learning to heal, from things that happened to me when I was his age. So how is that going to, like, I'm more so trying to figure out how is that going to affect him. And I don't want to punish him because he didn't do, I don't care what nobody say, my child didn't do anything wrong. And even if the little bit of wrong that he might have done wasn't equal to the punishment that he received.
That he got. Yeah.
So I want to comment on that because you said something that was just mind blowing. And we had not talked about it before, but it changed him. That moment unlocked a part of manhood that he probably should not have had unlocked at that moment.
Right.
He was ready to make phone calls. And we know what that means. We know what that means when you're ready to make them phone calls and now you making tough decisions. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel like you have to protect yourself, which you should. You know what I'm saying? But that should have, like, he's experiencing something at 12 that his counterparts of other races are probably not experiencing until 25, 30. So that's where we talk about that loss of innocence. Because now he knows about
from cute to scary, literally.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. At 12, you know what I'm saying? At 12 years old. So that's we miss out on those things as a collective, as a society, where our babies get put in situations that they don't have the mental, emotional, and you know what I'm saying, just physical experience to handle. Right. So it make them grow up too fast, too soon. They're not ready to be in the mental position that they're in. Right. And then, we get to a point where we don't know what to do to bring them back. We don't know how to bring them back to childhood because that's etched in their that's etched in their history book of them. Yeah. Yeah.
I will say as a lighthearted, son is he's always been protective of me. Even when I was pregnant, it was prophesied like that's your protector always. And baby boy came out with the Barry White voice, literally. So I had I'm spelling a little T. I had a male friend come over. Son came to the door with the bat, like, who is this young man? I need to see your ID before you can, like, you on the porch, but before you can step in. And can you play the game? Like, that was his whole interaction was, hold on, who is this man entering? Because now you entering his space. And I allowed him to have that moment. I just was like, okay, well, you good? All right. Okay, son. Yeah. We're going to be right here in the living room on the couch where you can see us. Because I definitely don't ever want to bring nobody into his space to where he's uncomfortable. Like, in that moment, that part of my village was no more. When he said he was done and he no longer felt comfortable, I respected that. No matter how I felt about it, if he decides tomorrow that he wants to forgive and move forward, I'm going to allow him that space. But for me, I'm still going to be that protective mother for him but I have to allow him to deal with it how he wants to deal with it. I can't tell him, well, you need to get over that. That was 6-7 months ago. No.
Yeah.
One, because I wasn't there and it wasn't my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that a lot of parents don't allow children to do. They don't allow them to express how things happen for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just
Even
that
the
simple.
smallest things, you know what I mean? Even if it don't have to be anything, super traumatic, like just being openly and expressing themselves, period, is a major way to help shape, our children for the better. You know what I mean? Like, just think of how many times we grew up in "it's my way" and what you say don't matter. Like, what? Like, thinking back on it, like, we were really
I need
messed
a
up in a lot
shot.
of ways.
Ooh.
That was a hit to our confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't speak confidently now because my opinion didn't matter when I in the house, in my own walls of my home, where I should be open and can be my honest and most truthful self. So, like I said, like I told, I teach that to Mitch, like, and I'm trying to honestly relate in so many ways, and that just speaks to the beauty of the spectrum of how our babies are brought up, because we're on the same block, not literally on the same block, but have so many different experiences. Like, and I don't know if it's because we don't have a lot of family here, and a handful of family, but like, I haven't yet to have those heavy moments with Mitch yet, like that. You know what I'm saying? It's all been kind of surface, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm praying that I don't ever, but if I do, I want to be ready for those, because I can only imagine that they're just like out of this world. But just speaking on that, being able to, like, he trusts you. Like, how beautiful is that your baby, you call him your son, you call him, I love that.
That's
But he,
done. That's
like,
done.
the fact that he trusts you with his emotions and with his trial. Like, imagine how many of these boys can't even go home to their mama and talk to me about it, because mama gonna cuss them out first. Like, what you do? You know what I'm saying? What role did you play? Or why? You know what I'm saying? Like, they get labeled by their own mamas. And that plays a major part with making them comfortable and knowing they can trust you. Like, I tell Mitch, I'm your friend. I don't care what nobody say. Like, the old folks used to say, you ain't my friend. No, I'm your friend. I'm your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, and nothing in this world you can tell me. It's nothing that's too hard for me to hear. I may have tears in my eyes when you're saying it, but guess what? I'm going to listen to you, because I want him to know that he can trust me with everything. And that's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? That's where it starts. And to me, that teaches them that whatever somebody else does, like, it's almost like it makes Mitch tell them, like, you sure that's what you want to do? Because I got somebody over here on my side that's going to have my back. You know what I'm saying? It teaches them how to be more defensive and take up for themselves. So when they're in those positions, it's not as easy for them to be taken advantage of, because I know who I am and I know who I can go to for reinforcement. So don't play with me like that. You know what I'm saying? But
I know one of the
yeah,
things that I had to deal with. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I had to deal with growing up was my mom. One of her favorite sayings would be, "I ain't one of your little friends." And that was a real thing. Like, okay, I get it. No, whatever. But that was one of the things that I took and I flipped. I tell son all the time, I am your only friend. Let's be clear.
You
I'm
got
your
no
A1.
friends.
Listen, I'm your A1, your day one. When you need somebody to pull up, I'm pulling up strong. You want me to pop the trunk? You want me to go in the glove box? Like, which way we going? Like, I'm gonna be there when you happy, when you sad, when you sick. Like, I'm all of the things for him. So I was his first friend. I was his first experience. Like, when he came out, he seen me. So my mom always used to say, and I understood the respect, because she's from the South, where she said, I ain't one of your little friends. But I took that and I said, but you are my friend. I still look at my mom as one of my closest friends, because that's my safety. And my friends should be my safety. So when I look at my son, I'm looking at him as like, listen here, whatever you need, whether I need to put you in check,
Right.
or I need to let you loose and be like, do
Yeah.
you see? I'm going to be there regardless. Now we can talk in the car like, now, son, you ain't have to do them like that.
Even in
But
your
that's a
wrong.
conversation in the car.
Yeah. Even in your wrong. That's one thing about it too. Don't leave out the part where you were wrong, because I can't take up for you. So I teach that honesty. Be honest and truthful. Yeah, I said and did this, but what they did in response to that didn't, like you said, it didn't, what he did didn't deserve what he got. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I teach him, be honest, because I'm gonna have your back regardless, but I want to be able to trust that you telling me the whole truth. Don't leave out the parts where you messed up. Like, tell me everything and let me determine whether or not it deserves me to go on your behalf. Like, don't do that. And now that I'm older, and I know this is about Black boys, but like I say, I use my own relationship with my mother and my father to help raise Mitch. I've always had a good relationship with mama, but I can say now, like, we're more open. Like, in my phone, her name is Bestie. You know what I mean? Because I had to open her up to the fact that, like, we have to communicate. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep your emotions bottled up, and you can't not tell me how you feel and walk around with an attitude, because I'm never going to know. How am I supposed to know what not to do if you don't tell me? You know what I'm saying? So we've created this beautiful world in our home now, where we just, we may get mad and rub each other wrong, but we're going to tell each other. And I use those experiences that I went through in my childhood to raise Mitch. I don't want nobody to shut me out. And I know my mama loves me, but she treated me how she knew to treat me because of how she was treated. You know what I'm saying? It's a generational thing. So we talk about breaking generational curses. That's one that I broke. No, you're not gonna walk around here shut mouth. You gonna talk to me and tell me, mama. And then that's gonna help me turn around and tell Mitch and talk to him instead of walking around angry and upset. So
Yes.
it's breaking those generational curses in that way too. Like I said, they only did what they knew to do. And when you know better, you do better. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those ways. We can afford to not tell our babies everything, expose them to everything. Like you said earlier, a lot of stuff was boxed up about credit and all these other things. Like, nah, we didn't find out that stuff until we were in college. And then it was too late because you thirsty, you hungry, you want to party, you broke. So any kind of way you can get some money in cash, you're gonna do that. So I think that's one of the major things is breaking those generational curses and not being afraid to do that. Like, that's been very, very helpful for me.
So, y'all know me. My mind is on. My mind is on the community. I love how you two specifically. We've talked about your personal experiences with your sons. Um, but your sons are gonna grow up and have to encounter these kids out here
Yeah.
who are not getting that guidance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to frame it, but how do we, as a community, and it don't have, you know what I'm saying, like as a collective, if you could think, like when you look at the kids who we see them on videos stealing people's cars,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? We see them on videos beating the hell out of each other. How do we, as mothers, aunties, grandmothers, fathers, uncles, grandfathers, how do we reach this this upcoming generation of kids? And I mean, of course, we don't, there's not a solution, a perfect answer right now, but, just to kind of get the conversation flowing, get people's
Yeah.
thoughts flowing.
Um, I honestly, at some like, ugh, and I'm not a negative Nancy at all. Like, I do have the greatest hope. I just don't know. Like, this, I'm so lost. When I tell you, like, how much I ponder and think on this, like, I honestly can't answer that and say, like, oh, we can have a rally and we can do this and we can do that. I honestly think that it has to start early. Like, we can't try to jump in there when they're 14 or even 9 or 10. We have to catch them when they're early, but even then, they're still going to be, Like I said, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, and I work at a school now. And they're only a product of their surroundings. So whatever their biggest influence is, and I think I just saw in the comment section, which is other children. Like that's no matter what you say or what you do or show them, they're going to gravitate towards that influence. So if it's their neighborhood, their household, or their friend circle, like if we can infiltrate those things, that's where to start. These kids are bored. But then you talk about that, they're bored. Okay, so you open up a community center and you get all these different events and ideas from the do. They don't come. They don't do, so I honestly don't know. That's a question that we would have to try to get some of them on to talk about. Like, what is it that's making you do this? It's fun. It's a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know, girl. I wish I did. But it's scary. It's scary because they are fearless. And it's like they're so powerful. And to take the positive out of the negative that they're doing, they're so fearless. So we can take that fearlessness and apply it to something else. They're so creative. You know what I'm saying? They're so intuitive. Like how it's not funny, but how you able to break open a collar of a car and use a charger to start it. Like that's a STEM program. So what can we do to, you know what I'm saying, to transform that, what they're doing to make it something positive? Okay, instead of you stealing these cars, I want you to create something and we'll pay you for it. You know what I'm saying? Like we need programs where we're able to do that for them. Because that's what it boils down to, I believe, is they're bored. They don't have anything going on at home. They probably, I would say, poverty, you know what I'm saying? Mom and daddy not at home. This is just me stereotyping because you may have some that living in the suburbs who doing the same thing just to fit in. So the spectrum could be on either side of it, honestly. It could be on either side of it.
Yeah. You definitely, I mean, that right there would be a great start because these kids, they, like you said, they bored, and obviously it's the adrenaline. Yeah. Because the fact that you like you don't have that risk aversion. Okay, so shit. If you want to feel stimulated, if you want to feel the adrenaline rush, well, shit, we finna take you and teach you some extreme sports or something.
Exactly.
Take your ass up to a mountain and teach you how to snowboard or ski or something. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that STEM program. Okay, don't steal a car, build a car.
And you know what, that you said that put a pencil right there. It was a group of young men the year before last. They went skiing. They took some of the boys from the school skiing. So many of them hadn't even been off their block, but they enjoyed that so much. And that's exactly what it is. So many of our children don't know anything outside of their corners. Like they don't know what to do with that energy. So they put it into doing stuff like that. So that's the answer. But it's like, does it fall back on us or is it just them? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where where it gets foggy. Who is it on? Is it on us or is it on them?
Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of it is the boredom and it's what we allow our children to even accept to come into them as young kids. Because I will say that I didn't allow son to play certain video games. Those video games have those ratings for a reason. I didn't allow him to play those video games. Yeah. GTA was not a thing. That's what they're doing right now. That's GTA. 100%. I also didn't allow him. Son didn't have a Nerf gun. Son didn't have none of those little fake pop guns. I can remember growing up we had candy cigarettes. That was something that we didn't even realize we were expunging that in, but that was something that was influencing us. Yeah. Those things that and I'm not going to say that it's all going to fall back on the mom and dad, but we also have to be just very careful of what we're allowing our kids to even be around. Like he's old enough now that I've given him enough influence, enough guidance to know, okay, GTA is a game. He's old enough to understand now that those Nerf guns that he's now just able to play with, if it was a real gun and a real bullet, it has consequences. But I waited till he was old enough to understand that before I allowed him to have those experiences. It was so many times where he was, I just want to have this, and somebody bought me that. Okay, you opened it up. It's cute. Put it in the tote.
Yeah.
Because I didn't allow him to have those things, but they are taking these video game experiences and it's not stimulating them anymore. It's not stimulating them anymore. So now they're like, well, if I can do it on a game, the game literally teaches them, okay, you got somebody telling them, I need this car with these type of things on it. Go find it, steal it, bring it back to me, run from the police.
Yeah.
This is how you get away, jump from this car jump out of this car. It's going to be a car on this block that's going to get you. It's the game teaches them all of these things. And we have to be very mindful that it's not a lot of Black people making these video games.
Yeah.
It's
the attention that they're getting from it too. Yeah. And it's like you getting all this attention. Yeah. You're going viral. Yeah. Like that's we're in the viral of that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? The society right now where it's all about the attention that you're getting from this. So that's stimulating them too. Like it's a whole page, Instagram page dedicated to the 414, you know, and all this stuff. So they doing everything just to get onto this page, you know what I'm saying, and get that exposure. We live in like all the social media, like that's what it is. That's what we all strive to get followers and get this so like it's all these different parts of this thing. It's the known possibly, and I say that because like I said, it's not all those who don't have good parents. You have some people who work hard for their kids who still out here doing what they want to do. So it's not all just the neglectful side. It's the other side too. It's all of them. The lack of activity. Like I kept, and I'm not saying this is the reason why, you know, he's not involved in anything, because who's to say, you know, what he's faced with or influenced by, you know, that I don't know. But I keep him involved. Like he plays baseball. If he ain't in baseball, he in basketball. If he ain't in basketball, he in football. If he ain't in football, he's doing the conservatory of music. He's always gonna be doing something to where you don't have any idle time outside of, you know what I'm saying, a few hours after school or whatever. You're gonna be busy. You're dedicated and committed to doing something other than just sitting here being on this game, even in the summertime. No, it's do something else. Read a book. Come in here and watch a movie with me. Let's go walking. You're going to do something besides sitting here on this game all day. Like you said, GTA, no, I would never buy it. Never did he have GTA, because I knew it was just too, when I heard about the sex scenes that were on the game, like, nah, why would you want to? That's not a game. That's real life. That's happening. So that ain't no game to me. A game is Mario Brothers.
Right.
Like, right. No, that's not a game.
So I do want, so a lot of, and Elle, you work in schools. I have a friend who he work in a school, and without you know, he would tell me about just some of the things that a lot of these kids are going through, and it's stuff that even as an adult I wouldn't know how to process. About being left at home and having to take care of all of your younger siblings. You know what I'm saying? And I know we're talking about boys, but even some of the girls who, okay, you get pregnant, and but you and your mama got kids the same age now, and you still a kid in her house, but she ain't helping you take care of your baby.
Or you know what I'm saying? Taking care of your 2 and 3 year old siblings.
Like, exactly. Or your parent is on drugs. Like these kids' experiences, like we're forgetting about the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like we wanna shut the door on them as a society. We don't want to talk about them. But then when they kick the door down and run around like wild animals, we want to point the finger at them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kids who have never been to the lake. Like, and that's something that's so, we was just talking about having a beach party. But it's kids that don't know that Lake Michigan, one of the great lakes of the United States. Is less than 30 minutes away. Like this is the experience or non-experience that so many Black kids are having. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy.
Like I talk about the real quick, the club that I worked at, you know, those babies will come there just to eat, because if they didn't eat at the club and get supper time at the club, they wouldn't eat nothing at home. You know, they would come to us, and if they weren't eating at school, they weren't getting no food, or they'll have to eat hot chips and juices and things of that nature. So, like you said, and it's like some of the stories that I've heard, and because of, you know, my profession and stuff, it's very sensitive, but it's just, it's not an excuse for a lot of it, but you can see why, because it's so much stuff these kids go through that's unbelievable, y'all. It's just, it's truly unbelievable. Truly unbelievable.
You know what? I was talking to a friend earlier today, and she just started working at a soup kitchen. And we was talking about she was upset because she just started there, and she was saying the quality of food that they were feeding people was just ridiculous. They would just open up some cans, heat some food up, and do stuff like that. And she was talking about the stewardship in these nonprofit organizations. But she made a good point and said that grandmama that used to be on the block that would just make a big old pot of beans.
Yeah.
And whether you a crackhead or a hungry kid down the block, she might not let you in her house, but she'll bring you a plate to the porch because she done realized you ain't ate nothing in a couple days. Come on over here, get some of these butter beans, cornbread, and some ham hocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a lot of what we missing. We missing those grandmamas on the block that would make sure that they was looking out for all of the kids, and would tell your ass, don't make me hit you with this broom. I'ma tell your mama.
That was one of the points I had too, that it take that village where you can tell my child what to do, and I'm not buffing up at you as long as it's in good taste. You know what I'm saying? We've lost that sense of community where the kids run up and down the sidewalk playing, but they know I can't be wild down on this end, because before I get home, my mama gonna know and gonna be waiting for me on the porch. You know what I'm saying? But we're in that age now where you can't say nothing to my baby. So it's not all them. It's a lot of it falls on us. Oh, we lost Ruthie. A lot of it falls on us.
When she come back, I'll put her back on.
Okay. A lot of it falls on us. Like, I can't be everywhere with Mitch. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I know it's tough, and I know we have issues with villages and things of that nature, but I'm just speaking on the sense of we all have like minds on our block. All the kids, this is our block. We're not letting nobody else come on our block with no BS. Our babies out here playing. So I'm gonna trust that Mitch has a friend across the alley that he plays with or whatever, and his mom and daddy know, and then same with me. You know, when you over there, ain't no playing around, because if you do something, you break a window, they're gonna come over here and tell me. They're not gonna be cussing you out and trying to come over here and cuss me out and fight. So I think it starts there with that sense of village. Like, I got your kid, you got mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got each other, and we're going to communicate, and we're going to respect each other. And like you said, if you hungry, baby, come on. He ate over here. I gave him some chips and, you know, a hot dog or something like that. I'm not going to leave him out here all bad. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is. Like, we're so dog eat dog. And it's really sad. Like, it makes me wonder if the movies we watch about how it used to be back in the day, like Crooklyn or whatever, you know, was that fiction? Because, I mean, we don't live in that world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that smile from my neighbor or my sister, or, you know, I don't get that all the time. It's very far in between it that you get that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where it is. You hit the nail on the head when you said that. Like, that sense of family isn't there.
Keisha, who has been commenting, I've been putting her. She said the grandma's at the club, and if that ain't the truth, I don't know what is.
Don't come for us. That's my cousin, y'all. She tells the truth though.
I do want to say one more thing to both of you all, because we had a chance to get to know each other over, you know what I'm saying, some time, and just not even knowing all of the intimate details. I look to you two and a host of other women for examples of what motherhood is. the community that you all have built around yourselves, the people that you all have in your circle. So even when you feel like the example that you're setting may not be up to par because you still figuring out at the same time, the amount of the people that you all have around you all are gonna fill in those gaps, and y'all gonna realize like the kids that y'all are raising are gonna be phenomenal. They really are community kids. They the community nephews. You see when you post a picture, the aunties coming through. Hey Mitch, hey Tatum, hey Son, hey so I definitely want to applaud you all for that. The foundation that you all are building for your kids is amazing. If we think of building a house, them babies got to build their own house, but the foundation that y'all are laying is full. The bricks that y'all are putting there, it ain't gonna be no room for them to have too much outside influence because the foundation is already gonna be so solid with the people that y'all came around. So even if they make some mistakes, they gonna know where to get back to,
right?
Because they're gonna have had that upbringing that makes them know, like, nah, I'm good and I'm gonna be great because I know I can. My mama made sure, my village made sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I applaud y'all. Like, y'all dope as hell. I'm glad we had this conversation.
Thank you.
You know I'm sensitive.
And this just like for me, I'm a new mama again, and I talked a lot about Mitch, but not so much about Tatum because he just got here like yesterday. So, but I will be honest and transparent and say like I was so afraid, y'all, like more afraid than I was with Mitch to have him because of the very things that we're talking about today. Where the world is going to be in 20 years when he's 20, 21 years old, and just trying to wrap my mind around bringing another Black boy into this world where he can just be walking down the street and laugh at the wrong time and somebody get offended because he's laughing and he's happy because you can't. And I'm feeding him to be a Black boy full of joy and to have confidence, and your confidence is intimidating to somebody. Like I literally contemplated not having my child because of that reason. And I've not spoken that publicly. Oh, but y'all, that's how real it is. That's how real it is, for us. And it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be that I'm not thinking about me being able to raise him and provide for him. I'm thinking about like, his life before he even has a life. And like I said, I'm just gonna keep and so to take it when I had him and I announced that I was having him, the feedback and the love and I know we say, I don't look to social media and my Facebook friends for anything, but to see the support that I got when I announced that I was having him, I did feel like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not in this by myself, and I'm gonna have people that I can lean on. Like he's with one of his funties right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I have people, good people, and good strong men around me. Like you said, Ruthie, I reached Mitch's teachers and his coaches. Like I'm not out here by myself, and I want that mother. And I know I'm taking it to another place. It's just the spiritual side of me, but that mother who thinks that you are out there by yourself, baby girl, like lean on your people, call, inbox me. I can hook you up with some people. If you need to get your son and your babies around some good people, please don't feel like you're out here by yourself and don't leave them out there for the wolves. Like get them around some people that can cover and protect them and trust. Like there's some good people out here. So I just had to say that. Thank you so much, Aziza. That blessed me and confirmed for me, because even with me thinking I'm doing all the right things, I don't always know because I don't, like I always say, I don't have a mirror in my face all the time. So y'all see stuff I don't necessarily see. So I receive it and I appreciate that so much because this is a job, man. You're raising, like I tell people, you're raising a whole human being. Everything that you do, everything that you say, they're taking it in and you're creating, essentially their lives. So this is like the most important thing that I can do. And I'm just grateful to know that y'all see what I'm trying to do. And I appreciate it so much. I do.
I just got some final words. Because I lean on Ziza so much when it comes to parenthood, just for comfort. Um, and one of the things that I've always been like dreading is with the way we have to raise our young Black boys, just like you said, Elle, you contemplated not even having your child. And I focus so much on the fact that I can't get that phone call to saying that something happened to my son. I planned his funeral. And Aziza has told me, plan his next birthday, plan his graduation, plan his, we ain't gonna plan no weddings or no baby showers or none of that. But in my mind, I already know what I want his funeral to look like, because it's in reality, we want our kids to bury us, but too often our children are we are burying our children. And that has been a fear, a huge fear. And I planned my child's funeral in my mind. And I've talked about this to probably just Aziza, and just her telling me we're not even going to think about that. We're gonna bring so many other events into this circle before we even have to get to that.
Right.
So thank you. Thank you, Elle, for even coming and being transparent. Like, this has been super, super therapeutic for me.
And I know we said it, but we really need to get our boys together. I believe that their worlds need to come together, because I know that Tyler has some experiences that he can share with Mitchell that Mitchell is completely naive to. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. And that's what it's about too, connecting them with people who are like them, but not like them. They don't come from necessarily the same place, because what you don't know, you don't know. What you haven't experienced, you haven't experienced. You know what I'm saying? And so we need to get our boys together. Mitch is very big on outreach. He gets that from I would say his dad more than me, because his dad is more active in it, but he's really big. Like, he wants to do a big softball, baseball game in the community and have boys, some boys come out and play just to do something different. You know what I'm saying? So let's get our boys together. I know Tyler play football, you know what I'm saying? And Mitch does too. So we can get together a little friendly 7-on-7. But we have to take it to them. Like somebody said in the comments, they're their biggest influence. So we get them to doing different things and not shining the light on the GTA crew, the Kia boys and all them. And let's shine the light over here where we're doing unity and not like we're putting them out. We're not doing the walks and the rallies. It's more of them being the front faces for that type of thing. Like changing that narrative, like not making it cool, because right now that's cool because everybody's talking about it. Like they're popular. So let's take the light off of that. You know what I'm saying? And then not leave them on the wayside, but either you're gonna get right or you're gonna get left. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Like we can talk about it, y'all, until we turn green in the face, but we gotta get more of the conversation, more of them inside the conversation. Like I'm the type, I want to go in the hood, and be like, what is it? Like, talk to us. Tell us what it is. Like, is it just because this is all you know? Or are you crying out for something? Like, if somebody were to come in today with a solution to your problem, would you change? Or would you do something different? That's how we're going to get the real answers, because we can assume what they're going through, but if we don't really know, we'll never know. And we're going to continue to have these same cycles repeated over and over and over again. So I'm down for it. As long as we got some reinforcements, I'll go in and be like, what's up? Like, what we need to do, y'all. Like, I know this is not, that's what I do when I'm in the school. This is not you. I know you better than this. I know you're better than this. So what is it that's wrong that's causing you to act this way? You trying to prove something to somebody? Is this a protection for you? Like, what is it? Those are the questions we need to go into the hood. I hate even using that word, you know what I'm saying? But we need to go into these places and areas and ask these questions to get the real answers and not assume what we think the answers are. So that's what I'm about.
Well, this is a forever. No, I'm not gonna say it's a forever conversation. It's the start of a solution.
Yeah.
This is a kickstart to by the time, you know what I'm saying, little Tatum is by the time he 15, 16, he ain't gonna know nothing about us solely or nothing like that.
Right.
So we are gonna go ahead and start to close out the show. Elle, did you have you had to be done by a certain time, right?
I got a few more minutes. We're good.
Oh, okay. So I think we've had pretty cool weeks. So we gonna skip fluffy shit and go straight into the keeping it cute. Ruthie, you want to introduce our keeping it cute for this week?
Oh my God. Okay, so this week's keeping it cute goes to Swim Thick. They had their 5th year anniversary, and I am super, super excited that I was able to be a part of that. P3 was able to be a part of that. I feel like Swim Thick got me out of Milwaukee for the weekend. I was able to get down to Atlanta to see my bestie.
Yay.
We both needed that quick vacation, just being around my comfort, my friend, my encourager. We both needed that. So Swim Thick is a body positive organization. It was so many. Oh my, like I was so floored. Like I'm thinking I'm body positive. They having another one. I think they sold out for August. But I was so excited to be just in the place because I'm thinking I'm body positive. Here I am in my little 2-piece, but I had a cover up. It was so many beautiful women in there in 2 pieces and nothing else. Yeah. I mean, 2 pieces, G-string.
Yeah.
Like it was so amazing to see them be comfortable in their own skin.
Right.
And the organizers of Swim Thick made that possible because they might go outside of that event and cover up and you will never see that side of them. But these women were here doing catwalks. They was in the water. They was, listen, the BBW lovers was in there. So you had the different
cat daddies.
Listen, you had the Greek sororities and everybody in there represented. It was people from all over. Like I truly, truly enjoy myself. I love what they represent. I love that they did, and they turned it into an entire weekend. Which, P3, we finna step. I mean, outside is open, so
right.
But just to be body positive people and to have these things that we want to do and see somebody else do it and see that it's capable,
right,
was definitely encouraging.
Yeah.
They had a pajama party one day. They had a brunch another day. They had the pool party another day, and it was just like, so you mean to tell me that it's okay to be this fine? Yes. And I was open with a 2-piece. You don't care about my poo-poo? I mean, I didn't care if you did or not, but it was just the environment that they created, and they made sure that the women was respected.
Right.
Nobody was out there. I didn't see not one fight. Like we enjoyed ourselves in the rain. Okay.
Yeah.
It rained, and it was just like, well, we came to get wet. So, I mean, they had security there, but you didn't need security.
Right.
It was a truly amazing experience. Y'all go look them up on Instagram. It's what is it? I know they're in Atlanta. I'm not sure if they travel.
I think they are an Atlanta-based organization.
Yeah.
But I love it because that's what we do. That's what all of us do. You know what I'm saying? But to see it on that level, it was like, yeah.
I feel like it's a revolution happening, which it shouldn't have to be a revolution of plus size because it should just be an accepted norm. However, it's a revolution happening. Like we're really solidifying our place. Like this is just what it is. Like there is nothing wrong with it. Like you gonna either accept it or not. Like we're not hiding. Like you said, oh y'all don't care about my fupa. Like this is a part of who I am. You know what I'm saying? I think that is spreading abroad. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna go follow them. Yes.
The arm fat and the thighs rubbing was like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Because it's you. I know a lot of us say, oh, we can control our bodies. That's true and it's not true. Because a lot of us is genetically set up that way. I ain't gonna never be a size 2. I ain't gonna probably never be a size 18, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. Yes.
Yeah. So
I still gotta post those pictures. I'm sorry. I still gotta post those pictures from that weekend on the P3 page. So be looking out for that. Don't judge me, y'all. I'm getting adjusted to first shift. Y'all finna see some fupas and some
Yes.
thighs and some arm fat. So,
And just know that if you talk mess, I read back.
Listen, it's what they like anyway. They just shallow house. They just can't really say it in public yet, but they
Right.
like it.
Right.
They like, trust me. Check they Google history. They on there. That's the truth.
All right, so we're gonna keep it moving. First off, let me get this out of the way. Make sure you follow us on all of the things. Check out our website, www.prettypluspower.com. Y'all need to be following us on Instagram, okay? At Pretty Plus Power. Make sure y'all liking the Facebook page, Pretty Plus Size and Powerful, and join the group. Share all of our videos. Go back and listen to all of our podcasts. Buy our shirts.
Yes.
We got new shirts out. Don't hide that fupa. Divide that fupa.
I need that one.
It definitely was a hit in the letter.
Elle, you want to tell them where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me at A Pretty Big Deal with 2 G's on Instagram, Facebook. I do have a website, www.aprettybigdeal.com. Where else? A podcast, Roots of Fruit podcast. We've been on a hiatus. I had a baby. Fee got married, but we will be coming back together very soon. So make sure you're following that Roots of Fruit podcast. We're all about similar things. We're getting to the root of our issues that we deal with as a community, as a people, individuals, pulling those roots up and trying to plant seeds of positivity that we can really bloom and blossom like we're supposed to. Like we just dope like that. So yeah, those are all the things of A Pretty Big Deal. Elle Renee. Yeah, just follow me.
And she sing, y'all, but I ain't gonna tell
I do
nobody
sing
else.
a little bit too. I do birthday parties. I do telegrams. So if you're still pandemics, still locked down and you want to send some love to one of your family members, just inbox me. I will sing to your family member on their birthday, anniversary, just to
on
encourage
a Tuesday.
Right, just because it's Tuesday, I'll call and sing to them. But yes, so follow the Dope Music Crew. That's another one of my crews. This all the things, and you'll see all that stuff on my Pretty Big Deal page. So yeah, just make sure you keep up.
All right, y'all know what time it is. Go to the mirror, say exactly what it is that you need to say to yourself.
We might have lost her.
I think so. She got excited too.
I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see if
Right.
she gonna come back. No? Okay, so what she was about to say is now is the time for you to go into that mirror and say all the things that you need to hear for yourself. This is the I am statements, and I'll go first. I have 2. 1, I am a damn good mother. And secondly, I am a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Elle.
I am a pretty big deal. I always say that. That's so cliche. And I'm going to piggyback. I am a damn good mother, and I am a damn good friend.
Damn. Yes. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Pretty Plus Size and Powerful podcast. Oh, ZZ back. I want to say your I am statement.
Wait a minute. My computer just restarted in the middle. I am overcoming self-doubt.
Oh, see, I didn't know. Okay, I thought it was like a I am this. Oh, I can really say a whole sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. I am. Drawing a blank. No. I am getting back to myself. That's going to sum up everything. I'm getting back to myself. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, now you can close out, Ruthia.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Pretty Plus Size and Powerful podcast. Make sure that you share this much needed conversation. So somebody else needs to hear this. I'm pretty sure we didn't touch on everything, but we will have this conversation again. It's gonna get deep, okay?
Yes.
Tune in next week. You never know who the guest is gonna be. Bye, y'all.
Love y'all. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Tone, turn off the live, Tone.